How everybody doing? This is Mr. Amen, and this is a Let Them Know Media production. First of all, I want to ask if everybody would please like and subscribe to my channel. Share it with everybody that you can. This might not be for you, but it might be for somebody that you know. And I would love to say thank you for anything that you do as far as liking and subscribing my channel and sharing my content. So without any further ado, I would like to talk about the manifestation of good and evil. Okay, this has been a topic since the beginning of time, right? And I think that there's angles about this topic that's not quite talked about as much as others. And I would like to give my angle. Okay? And so my angle is this when we're talking about good and evil. There's a duality to everything. And when I say duality, that means two. So you have good and bad, you have dark and light, you have positive energy and negative energy. So when you talk about the evil and the good that's done in this world, you have to look at how these things manifest. And these things manifest through man, okay? So we know man is a physical, and we also know that man is a spiritual. So when you talk about the spirit, you're talking about where the divine dwells at in the spirit, right? The spirit is attached to God's will, the entity of life where, God blew breath in us to live. So the spirit will be connected to the divine or the positive. And then the body will be connected to negative, right? Negative energy. But why is an even better question. So when we talk about the physical body, we must understand that the physical body is a mammal. It is an animal. And I think because we say human beings so much, we lose context to what we are truly. We talk about our primate cousins, the gorillas and the apes, and, we talking about, horses and dogs and cats and all these dolphins and whale, all these other mammals, okay? But we fairly or rarely, I should say, talk about the mammal side to man. There's a good story out in Egypt, or what we call Kemet, where we talk about Khnum and his potter's wheel. Khnum on his potter's wheel, he's fashioning man in two ways. On one side, it is the physical, and on the other side, it is the spiritual. So when we talk about the physical, we talk about the mammal. And the animal has basic instincts, or should I say a mammal has basic instincts. So you have reptiles and then you have mammals, right? So reptiles and amphibians, they pretty much are classified the same way. And then you have mammals, okay? And we can talk about mammals all day, but I think we all know what mammals are. I gave an example. So what I want to say is this. When you talk about a mammal, you're talking about an animal that has instincts a certain kind of way. Fight or flight. You're talking about survival skills. You're talking about mating in order to, give birth, to more generations thereafter. And so when a mammal has hunting skills and things of that nature, it's also territorial. So when you look at mammals in the wild, like tigers and stuff like that, lions and things of that nature, they tend to tear each other apart. They rip each other apart. They're territorial. If you come into their land, they will try to kill you or run you off. They have dominant ways about themselves. And so humans basically have these same instincts. So when we talk about all of the evil that's done in the world from a man, we have to know that these things are operating out of the animal side of our brain, the animal side of our nature, okay? A lot of the stuff that's going on in the world is passions. These passions operate from the animalistic side of our ways, right? And right now it's pretty dominant because a lot of people don't talk about the divine, and the divine is way more powerful. We all know that positive energy is more powerful than negative energy. We know that it takes lesser bones to smile than it does to frown, right? And so when you look at that, we find that the divine is not expressed in a way where the masses of people really take shape with that, right? And so I wanted to give some clarification on the two. So when you talk about practicing divine ways, you're talking about doing good to people. Those people are doing good to you. You're talking about a family, a community, a village, right? You're talking about holistic living. You're talking about eating properly. You're talking about working out. You're talking about speaking good. You're talking about being good and doing good, right? And that energy reciprocates itself back to you. But right now, what's more dominant than ever is the animal side of man's nature. And so, we can dive so many different ways and paths on this, right? And maybe in future videos, I will dive deeper. But I just wanted people to understand that we must understand that when we talk about evil, we talking about the evil that men do. The evil that men do. A lot of us want to give external basis and call it the devil or demons and things of that nature, but I don't think the quality of the evil that men do actually takes shape until somebody close to you do something evil to you. And then it hurts and then you feel that. So why is this a topic? It's a topic because we need to do better as a people. And I'm not just talking about brothers and sisters. I'm talking about all people. We need to do better. We need to stop letting the beast, which if you look up the word beast, it actually means animal, right? And in another video, I'll talk about the devil too, right? Because that's a major topic that I want to talk about now, but I'll wait for a later video to talk about that. So stay tuned and stay connected to the videos, because the only way you're going to stay connected is if you like and subscribe, but also staying connected will keep you up to date with the angles of how this information relates to not only me and you, but everybody, right? And so we can share this space safely. And so I just wanted to give context to a deep conversation. And like I said earlier, that's not being talked about the way that only Let Them Know media will talk about this stuff, right? I think we talk about topics and skim around the actual meat of the conversation, and we all kind of fall into this, conversation where we all talk about the same things the same way. But there's so much more context to everything. And so this is one, the animal, the divine, and how the divine manifests itself and how the animal manifests itself, you know. And so hopefully this gives you some insight, some hindsight, some knowledge, some wisdom, and some understanding. Until the next video, peace.